The earliest mention of this place, it comes from a Kalvetta, Parandaka Cholan inscription, which says Puliyur Kotattu Poonamallee. So 10th century. Poonamallee abindradhu this place exact name. It is not Poonamallee or Poovirindavalli as we think. There is no one by name Poovirindavalli. The goddess even here of the temple is called Pushpavalli. There is no Poovirindavalli. Poonamallee means Pookal Nirainda Tanmayana Mali Thotam. The place was actually a garden which had lots of flowers. So Thottama irunda oru ooru. Probably after Parandakan it went to the hands of Pandyas. We also find inscription of Jadavarman Sundara Pandian too. We find inscription of Jadavarman Vikrama Pandian, and from there it went to the Cholas also, Cheras also. We find mention about Ravivarman Kulasekaran also here. There is an inscription in Varadaraja Perumal temple which went to...
Could be that they donated.
Yeah, could be they donated here. No, but he has bifurcated a place called Agaram. This place was initially also called Agaram. So Agaram was bifurcated by the Cheras here. So you can find the hands of Cholas, after that the Pandyas, after that the Cheras, after that it was the Nayak kings who had made some donations to the temples here. After the Nayak kings, it again came to the Golconda Sultanate. So it was during the Golconda Sultanate we find a modern building here built in 1653. 1653 we find a big mosque. The big mosque here was built by Rastam, who was again a general, was a Havildar of Poonamallee fort. This place was actually a fort. There was a fort here, two parts of the town there, that was old town and this was new town. The fort bifurcated the town into two.
Any walls?
So this not found now, unfortunately. So I was looking for the walls but nothing is found now. The Poonamallee fort initially, which was built in the middle of the town, almost southeast to the center of the town. It was about 175 yards long and 42 yards wide, and it had ramparts which was as high as 18 feet. There were bastions also, and you can find the initial, there is a picture. So this is the earliest mention of a fort that we see here. This picture or a diagram which was drawn in the year 1810. So this is the Mohammedan fort. It is mentioned as the Mohammedan fort. You can see, it's a very beautiful painting done in 1810 from the mess house, officers mess house, which will be going shortly. So this was the fort here. As you can see, there are a lot of trees. And incidentally, there was one soldier who worked here in this barracks who went from here to Canada on some work, and that was where you find the river Rideau in Ottawa. And there was a lock there which he named by this town, Poonamallee. So unimaginable, some name of a town from Tamil Nadu, a very remote town to say. It finds a place in Canada now. And after that, this building, this particular building that we see here, this was a barrack actually. This was a barracks where there were 500 soldiers placed at a time. The British built this probably earlier than the date that we think. What we see here, the construction of this began in August 1888. Here it is. And it was taken over by MWD, Madras Works Department, in April 1890. And it was completed in March 1893. This particular building. So they had 500 soldiers here at a time. There is a small prison also at the back side, and beyond that we have stables. When I talk about the stables, I should be telling you another interesting thing. The Britishers, they were crossbreeding and inbreeding the horses that they could find. There was a horse named specifically which was named specifically as Poonamallee Arab. So this place, these horse stables that we are going to see, they had a specific horse variety itself that was bred at this very same place. So this place actually had a very vantage point because this lay in between the coast and Arcot Nawab's headquarters, which was Arcot. So they wanted this fort basically to have a control. During the period of 1780 to 1800, we find there was a tussle for the crown between the British, the French, the Nawab of Carnatic and the Mysore kings. So there was a tussle, after which finally the Nawab of Arcot had this place. And in 1749, Nawab of Arcot, Muhammad Ali, who was a contender to the throne, he gave away a grant to the British, giving about 330 square miles in and around this area, and about 220 villages he gives as a firman, as a grant to the Britishers. And in 1763, when he is reinstated as the crown prince of Arcot, he again gives away another 2,000 villages, another 2,280 square miles, all to the British. So the lands that actually didn't even belong to him, he was very gracious in granting away those lands to the British. So when the British landed up here, they initially had a barracks. They had a hospital here. There was an infirmary where the sick soldiers were held, and we can find medical journals of that infirmary dating back to 1823. the earliest medical journal from this hospital. The hospital was not here. It is just behind it. There is a seminary now. There is a Sacred Heart Seminary where the hospital is now being used by the priests. So that is where they had the infirmary. And here upstairs they had few rooms for the soldiers, and here you had an officer's mess behind, and here we had a large dining hall. And during those times there was no concrete, so they always built arches. You can find the old British buildings with a lot of arches which helped support the building. And here you have the Madras terrace here. The entire flooring is granite. If you see, the entire flooring from here to there is granite. And this is one very interesting place. Please come. So can you see this? Two arches. One to support this slide and one to support that. Because they didn't have concrete, they believed totally on the arches to support the building. And the rooms are very airy, as you can find, and it had a lot of ventilation. But still you can find Britishers complaining about this place, saying it's very hot. When you find the earlier mentions in the 19th century, early 19th century, he'll be saying this place is so stifling. There is this person by name Hervey who has written about this place. He writes, the place is so stuffy that I really feel like I would like to go run away back to England. That was what our soldier has said about this place. And the blind school that functions here now was started in the year 1931. That was the sole brainchild of Eric Conran Smith, who was then Commissioner of Madras, who wanted to use this place for a better thing. And this is incidentally Asia's first blind high school. Asia's first blind high school. They started in the year 1931. By now we have a regional government Braille Press Institute here, press here. We also have a rehabilitation center for blind women here that is functioning at the very same premises. Once there was about 950 students here during 1930s, but now we have only about 200 to 250 students. The building is almost falling apart. They have applied for government funds, but as always, the government machinery is getting delayed. But something should be done to safeguard this place because it has a lot of history behind it. 1880. Please do come. This is the place from where the painting was drawn. The painting that I showed you here. So this painting, the fort was probably to that side. So that is the southeast of the center of the town. So from here they have painted the fort. But now there is nothing of the fort that is visible now. Not even a small part is visible. I have hunted about for almost 1 month. I have been looking for something that is part of the fort here, but nothing is there. And here you can find the chimneys. What do you find there, no? On either side. Those are the huge chimneys. Morning, sir. So those are the huge chimneys. Whatever chimneys that you can find here, they are also available in the quarters behind. So when they built this hall, they also built the quarters. There were about 13 quarters. That's what mentioned in the books. But we can find about 8 or 9 now. They were also built around the same time. So ஒரு கோவிலுக்கு ராசராசேந்திரனுடைய காலத்துல யாரோ ஒருத்தர் கொடுத்த கொடை. மூன்றாவது வரி மண்டலத்து இக்கோ, நான்காவது வரி உட்பட்ட நன்சை புன்சை. So Rajarajan. Yes. So probably somewhere around the 10th or 11th century.
It's timely like
12th century.
Yes.
Yeah, this is old Tamil, Chola style.
12th century. Rendavathu Rajarajan.
No.
It's 10th century.
10th century only.
985 is Rajaraja.
இல்ல ரெண்டாவது ராஜராஜன்.
இல்ல இது ராஜேந்திரன்.
டிசைன் இது நம்ம இதுல எடுத்துக்காங்க படி எடுத்துக்காங்க.
இது வரைக்கும் யாரும் இத படி எடுக்கல.
How did you find that?
She wrote a transcript and guesswork.
Not guesswork, from someone who knows epigraphy.
இது எஸ்டாம்பேஜ் எடுக்கல இன்னும்.
இல்ல இன்னும் எடுக்கல. I'll be writing a mail to the museums or to the archaeology department. So museum says they are ready to take this, and there are few more finds also like this here.
Right.
You'll be seeing them also. This is only a part, so the other part probably should be somewhere here or in the temple itself.